Hello there, Vic Benedict here. We're playing Spec Ops The Line on the PC on FUBAR difficulty, and this is my guide and walkthrough. We're currently on Chapter 3 of 15. It is entitled Underneath. So this is a very difficult fight to clear. When you're playing this game, you're going to notice that fights fall into one of two categories. Fights that your teammates are continually falling down in combat despite what you're doing, or fights that doesn't happen. Also, be aware of that there's a runner coming down the rightmost staircase, and when you start to play this game, you're going to have to learn the timing of when you toss a grenade, from the time that you start to toss it and you throw it, from the time that it detonates. It actually takes a little bit, because it bounces first before it detonates, so it does take. I've missed a lot of kills trying to time it, and by playing it more, you will learn the timing. So you want to avoid the glass cover over here because it can get broken, and then once it gets broken, enemies will start to shoot you. This may be the second runner over here. I think my teammate took care of him, one of my teammates. So at most, there are two enemies that run up here. Everybody else will just stay down there. So since this is not one of those fights where your teammates are going to be falling in combat too much, I mean, I think you saw one of my teammates did get knocked down, and I had to issue a heal command to him. But I never experienced this. I did this twice. It took me 30 minutes each time approximately. None of my it was never both of my teammates that fell. It was only just one. So if that's the case, it's always an easy fix. Just press right bumper and you issue a heal command. So just keep assigning people targets. Keep issuing reload commands. Try to, when you see multiple enemies grouped up, try to do cluster killing with the Scar-H's grenade launcher, and just be careful of the guys on the chandeliers and also the guys on the skylights. Make those your priority. But it's a very hectic fight, and it's hard to tell people what exactly to do on certain situations because they're extremely chaotic. And as long as you're staying behind the solid cover over here, you're being hyper vigilant with looking for everything, and staying away from the grenades. I know sometimes it's impossible to stay away from them, but having enough supplies there is a good thing. Enough grenades, enough refills with the grenade launcher. Here is a room where you can get some more refills over here too. Couple of frags, and now this part over here, this is a pretty the first part of this fight isn't difficult. There's a couple guys right ahead of you at first. The game is the game for some reason wants you to shoot out these skylights, and I don't like shooting them out because why should I just waste my ammunition for nothing? So I don't think you have to shoot the skylights out, but since the game insists, I just do it. Now when you get up to about this point, you just want to take out any remaining people on the skylights, and then what you want to do is aim over your left shoulder and crouch, and then target the guy behind the turret. What's invariably going to happen, be careful because the turret guy can take you out easily. What's going to happen invariably is that Adam's is going to throw a grenade and kill the guy behind the turret. It happens every time. It's a very nice and consistent thing that happens. And then what you want to do before you get on the turret, you're going to notice a whole bunch of grenades being thrown at you. They're not going to threaten you because they're not in the red, the grenade indicator light, that is. But just before you go on the turret, just assign your teammates kills over here, and when you get on the turret, immediately crouch because you're going to have these guys running in front of you. So remember, crouch aiming is essentially blind fire, but since they're so close to you, they're not going to be able to escape death. And then once nearby enemies are gone, you can just stand up and start normally aiming. But there's only so far that the gun turret can fire to the right before all of the rightmost enemies that are over to to the right, they're going to be out of the reach of the turret. So only thing you have to watch out for here is the shotgunner. He tends to hide out. So before you push forward, make sure that you find him and have your teammates kill him for you. And then what I'm going to do, since I'm quite low on ammunition, is I'm going to switch to the AK-47 and backtrack to this room over here, which had a fresh AK-47 right behind these pair of couches over here. The great thing about this game too is that you just you hover over ammunition and the game just picks it up for you. I always found it really irritating to have to pick up spare ammunition by pressing a button when you could just pick it up real quickly, but just by standing over it. You know, I understand the I understand the necessity of having to confirm that you want to pick something else because it would conflict with reloading, just pressing X. But I just don't like, you know, continually pressing a button just to pick up something, you know, that I already have, that I'm just getting ammunition for, spare ammunition. Okay, now we're gonna have to venture out into no man's land, and the problem with this is that every time both of your teammates are gonna fall down. So what you want to do is you want to come up here and cluster kill all of the enemies that spawn up here. Now my issue was that I didn't have my Scar-H's grenade launcher reloaded, so one guy actually didn't get killed, and I think yeah, that whole grouping of enemies, if I had had the damn thing's grenade launcher reloaded, I could have cluster killed everybody, including this guy over here. So everybody's cleaned up now, and the conceit is that you can't shout orders over the sandstorm, which I don't understand if you're using a microphone. I guess, I mean, what's the earpiece on his ear for? I don't know, but that's the conceit, so we have to live with it. So you can't order enemies, or you can't order enemies to be killed. You know, you can't tell your teammates to kill people, and by that logic you also can't shout healing orders to your teammates. But it doesn't help when both of your teammates have fallen down like that. But cluster, I think the main thing about that latter part is cluster killing those enemies over there. That will pretty much save you the fight there, because then if everybody's, you know, every which way, you've got to locate everybody. And then your teammates are bleeding out. It's a losing situation, and there's no checkpoints. They're gonna have to begin in that lobby area. But I'm hoping that this video helped you out. It's a tough one, probably the toughest of the first three, and I will see you in the 4th chapter. Please take care. I hope that the guide is and will continue to help you out. Please take care.